Keep tricking yourself if you're like, oh, I don't want him. If it happens, it happens. If it's meant to be, what will be, will be. Que sera, sera. Oh, come on, guys. You're full of shit, most of you. You're full of fucking shit. And you pick the easier option because you don't believe you deserve this, because you don't believe you're enough for it, because you don't think this is really going to manifest, because you don't believe you're God. Be honest. All right, guys, let's do a laws lesson as suggested in my subconscious laws squad. It's a long one because this person is very confused about detaching from the outcome and living in the wish fulfilled. Now, let me read you their confused question, my answer to them, and their confused follow-up comment, okay? Let me read it to you. Why don't you teach to detach from the outcome when gripping to the outcome may block our manifestation? I do not teach you to grip to the outcome. So just so you guys know, it's not what I teach. Okay. I wrote, this question makes almost zero sense. So I'll answer it as you appear to be watching idiots whilst watching me and confusing the fuck out of yourself. And this person said, it was a genuine question why you don't teach this. So I don't teach detaching from the outcome. That's a law of attraction thing. I'm not a law of attraction teacher, so that's probably why. But I'll get into this in a minute. Because I've caught myself when I grip to the outcome, doubt kicks in. Again, I don't teach you to grip to anything. So this person's confused about what I do teach and what I don't teach, okay? So please don't come at me telling me what I teach when you've been confused by what I teach. Your confusion is your confusion. It doesn't mean I'm teaching that. It means you're confused by what I'm teaching. There's a big difference. Comprehension appears to be a problem with a lot of you. I have heard about detaching from the outcome. Not from me. Not from me. Okay? But I don't seriously follow anyone. Well, I don't know where you heard it, love, because you fucking didn't hear it here. Okay? Actually, the opposite. And yesterday I was thinking that if I hadn't come across you, I wouldn't have never taken LOA seriously. I hope she means law of assumption. Because of how consistent you are and the way you keep explaining this. I'm just trying to understand because I cannot truly apply it otherwise. Not my problem, mate, because you're not listening. Okay? So, guys, if you have a problem applying what I'm teaching, the problem isn't the teaching. The problem is the application, and prior to the application, the comprehension. Please don't come at me saying after 5 years of doing this, why don't you teach this thing that fuckwit number 5 channel teaches? Because fuckwit number 5 is a fuckwit, okay? Just so you know. That's why all the questions. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go into this saying called detach from the outcome. Now, what is the outcome? The outcome in manifestation speak is the thing you want to manifest, the thing you're favorably trying to manifest. Right now, you're manifesting a whole lot of unfavorable things, outcomes that you don't want. This is the thing that you guys sometimes get lost on. This is why I go on and on and on about you are the only cause. Currently, you have caused outcomes out here that have come about, outcomes that you don't want. Did you have to detach from them for them to manifest? Let me ask you. Did you have to, the word detach, release from, stop thinking about, turn your focus away from, ignore the things out here that manifested for them to manifest? The answer is hell no. So if that's the case, how did they manifest? Because you were thinking about them subconsciously and you were in a state that produced that outcome that you don't want. So if the same rule applies for both, then clearly you must still be thinking subconsciously things that are causing the outcome out here and causing your new outcome that you favorably want, that you do want, not to be out here, an outcome. You are currently thinking things and being in a state that is causing this outcome out here not to change, not to be reflected differently. And you are still perpetuating the outcome that you've already manifested. So what difference would detaching from the thing you do want make when you didn't have to detach from the thing that's currently there for it to manifest very successfully. This is the bit a lot of you don't get. So a lot of creators or people who think they understand Neville Goddard will tell you to detach from the outcome or to not dig up the seed once you've planted it. Now let's go back to what that even means, because a lot of you will be like new and be like, what the fuck are you on about, Loz? Who the fuck's Neville and what does dig up the seed mean? Okay, there are Neville experts on the internet that I've heard teach this very wrong, okay? There is a difference between wanting something and then trying to ignore it and going about your life as if you never wanted that thing. And that is what the law of attraction community teach you, that the universe will bring it about for you. You don't have to do anything to make it happen, and you don't have to think about it anymore. In fact, you shouldn't think about it anymore. You should detach from the outcome you want. The difference is that's a misunderstanding of what the detachment element is. If you see detachment as more like indifference, if you see detachment as not digging up and doing things to make it happen, then you will understand what the word detachment means, really. I don't teach it like so many people teach it, which is completely ignore what it is you want, because I know you fuckers will never stop thinking about the thing you want. Will you? How many of you have successfully tried to detach from the outcome of, say, being in a relationship with your specific person and never fucking thought about that specific person again? Exactly goose egg, 0 of you. Because it's almost impossible to stop thinking of your desire when it has not manifested. The thing we're meant to be doing is imagining it has manifested already, so it goes from being a desire to being something you've received. Desiring something implies want, received implies have. Have it already, are in the wish fulfilled. It's been manifested. It is an outcome. It has been manifested out here. So if I was dumb enough to follow the plethora of fuckwits number 4, 5, 6 and 500 on the internet teaching this absolute bullshit of detaching from the outcome, I would say that crap. But I understand how manifestation works, and I understand that out here there's a whole lot of outcomes that you didn't even have to consciously imagine for them to become outcomes. Therefore, if the same rule applies and X times Y equals Z, then X, subconsciously thinking of, times many, many times thinking of it subconsciously equals outcome. You didn't have to consciously manifest it, and you didn't have to detach from it for it to manifest, because you guys aren't realizing you're still fucking thinking it in here. That's why I say to you, it's also a misnomer when people say to you, the reality in front of you is delayed, because unfortunately, it is a mirror reflection of what you're still thinking as well as what you were thinking before. The state you used to be in and the state you're currently in. It is a reflection of the state you're currently in, which is a culmination of the state you were in before if you haven't changed states. This might confuse you, this lesson, but I just need you to really hear me. And those of you who write questions like this, who have massive comprehension problems and don't understand that I've never in the history of time told you to grip to the outcome. I also don't teach you that anything blocks your manifestation except for you. So if you are gripping to an outcome and it's causing blocks in your mind, sorry, love, you're doing that to yourself. Nothing blocks your manifestation. What's blocking it? The universe. God came down and blocked it because you were gripping. What do you mean? Nothing blocks anything. You're your only block. Your subconscious thoughts and your conscious thoughts are blocking it yourself. You're doing that. And then you're imagining it's blocked. You're blocking yourself. Unblock yourself. So in answer to this fucking question, which has so many things in it that I don't teach you to grip to an outcome. I do not teach you to detach from the outcome, because you're naturally manifesting it already subconsciously right now, the outcome you don't want. I teach you to imagine you are what you want to be already, as if it's already here. That's what will actually make it manifest. Believe you have received it, and you will. In that famous line from the Bible? Does it say, grip to the thing you want and you will receive it? No, it says, believe you have received it and you will. Now, some of you get very lost with the word belief and think I mean, or the Bible means you have to believe you have it already. Well, after a while, after you've thought it enough and you've lived in the state enough, you will start to believe it. That's how belief works. It's not an instantaneous thing. But unfortunately, you guys have believed to be true a whole lot of shit out here that's now manifested. The outcomes out here. You believe that very, very successfully because your fears have been made manifest, haven't they? That's why you're right now gripping to an outcome that you do want instead because of the fear of this not changing. Oh, that's right, Loz. That's the word grip comes from like fear. I don't grip something I don't think is going to disappear. Grip is a very strong negative word. If I'm gripping onto someone and they're falling down a mountain, it's because I feel like they're going to die if they fall off. I'm not holding a hand lightly. I don't teach anyone to grip anything. So in answer to this girl's question, what I actually teach, let me tell you what I actually teach. Whatever's happening out here, the outcomes that you don't want, that are unfavorable, that you have already subconsciously manifested, you do not pay attention to them or focus on them. You try, if you can, to turn your attention away from them and focus on what you do want instead. And imagine you have that instead already. So instead of focusing on here, talking about out here, ruminating about out here, fearing about out here, you become indifferent to it. Oh, it doesn't matter that that's happening because now I'm going to manifest this. You don't try to ignore it. You don't try to detach from it. You don't try and think it isn't happening. In the same way that the thing you do want, you don't try and detach from that or think that isn't happening or going to happen, because why would you do that? So the thing you do want, you imagine yourself having so that this goes away. What I do teach, however, is not gripping to it. Like it's something if you don't think of it all day long, it's never going to happen. Maybe that's what this girl's doing. Maybe she's thinking about it all day long and she feels desperate thinking about it, and that's this gripping energy that she's talking about. I don't teach that either. I teach you to go about your day as if you already are the man or woman who has your desire already. In what way is anything I just said got an element of fear and gripping and severe focus on? I don't teach that. So if your fear is so strong of losing it that you need to grip to it, that your alternate outcome is to detach from it completely and pretend you don't even want it, well, I'm sorry, that's a falsehood. That's a falsity. That's a false memory you're having. So those of you who think you can trick your mind into not wanting something you've been gripping onto previously and can now detach from it, fucking go ahead and try it. Like, good on you if you think you can do that. But 99.9% of you won't stop fucking thinking about it. That's why before, when you were thinking about it a lot, you felt like you were gripping onto it. So the same kind of people who say things like, oh, I'm just going to detach from the outcome, are the same people who are so fearful they're not going to get a specific person back, they can't start looking on dating sites or start saying, oh, it wasn't meant to be. Because they're so fearful it's not going to work out. You're so fearful it's not going to work out, darling. That's why you find detaching from it so much easier, because your focus on it makes you upset that it's not here. Be honest. Some of you are complete bullshit artists. But I'd rather detach. It makes me feel better. The reason why it makes you feel better is because you have a belief it's not here, and every time you focus on it, it feels like gripping, because your story in your mind is, where is it? Why isn't it here yet? It's never going to happen. Where is he? Why hasn't it manifested? This isn't working. So you think turning your attention away from the thing you want to the thing that's happening, fucking happening, is going to actually work for you. Or ignoring it completely and thinking the universe will decide, or it's not meant to be, is going to fucking work for you, because focusing on it keeps reminding you of what you don't fucking have. And that's about your self-concept of thinking you're not God. And that's about your self-concept of thinking this won't work. And that's about you. So don't come at me and tell me I'm teaching you wrong, or why don't I teach it, when the problem is you, darling, thinking you won't have what you want. And therefore, thinking of what you want makes you upset. Thinking of what you want makes you fearful. Thinking of what you want makes you grip onto it. So it's so much easier to live in a la-la land where apparently you can ignore it and detach from it, because thinking of it makes you upset, because you are not yet in the state of a person who deserves it, or can even imagine it even happening to them because they don't imagine it'll ever happen to them because of your concept of yourself. Because you don't realize you're God and you don't think you're good enough to have it. Oh, that's why I want to detach from it, because thinking of this thing I desire so badly and do not have makes me upset, because it constantly reminds me of the me I'm being right now, the one who does not have it, who is not loved, who is ignored, who has been ghosted, who isn't chosen, who is broke, whatever it is. So you fuckers think ignoring it, being in this avoidant energy and not focusing on what you do want is so much easier. Of course it's fucking easier. You know what's easy? Digging a hole in the ground and sticking your head in it. Makes life so fucking easy, guys. Are you getting this? Please don't come at me saying, well, you should be teaching this. Why don't you? Because it no work. How many of you can honestly detach from the thing you want to manifest? None of you. And those of you who think you have, I call bullshit. Keep tricking yourself if you like. Oh, I don't want him. If it happens, it happens. If it's meant to be, what will be, will be. Que sera, sera. Oh, come on, guys. You're full of shit, most of you. You're full of fucking shit. And you pick the easier option because you don't believe you deserve this, because you don't believe you're enough for it, because you don't think this is really going to manifest, because you don't believe you're God. Be honest. Some of you are so full of it, and you come in asking me questions as if I'm not teaching you properly. You aren't listening properly, and you aren't changing your state properly. I'm not changing my teachings to suit your fears. Listen harder and listen better and apply. If anything right now out here is an outcome that has manifested that you do not want, you did not need to detach from that for it to fucking manifest. So you don't need to detach from the outcome you do want for it to manifest. Because how did you manifest this shit out here? Ask yourself that. Like, so many of you don't use logic. Like, logical thinking, when you apply this shit, you think this is all woo-woo. There is so much logic and science involved in this, guys. And so many of you just have a lobotomy of the brain and don't use any grey matter when it comes to manifestation. You don't understand, oh shit, how do I manifest this thing out here that I don't want, the outcome I don't want? Did I have to affirm about it all day, do a robotic affirmation every 5 seconds, script it, focus on it, talk about it, take action, take inspired action, listen to subliminals for all this to happen? Fuck no. I did absolutely fucking nothing except think subconsciously about it and create a state where it manifested. Fuck. So what do I need to do now to create a state I do want? Oh, I know. Think subconsciously and consciously about it and create a state where it will now manifest. Oh, it's that fucking simple? Is that what Loz has been teaching for 5 years? Is that why she gets frustrated when people think she's saying something and she isn't saying that at all? Now, in order to understand Neville's teaching of this, a lot of people misunderstanding him saying, plant the seed, cover it up, water it, and do not dig it up, and go about your day. Now, those of you are going to come at me and say, but Neville told you not to dig up the seed. That's detachment. No, it's not, you fuckwit. Okay? You've misunderstood him. When Neville says don't dig up the seed, if you dig a seed into the ground and you want the tree to grow, if you dug it up, why would you be digging it up? You'd be digging it up to check why it isn't growing. What he's talking about is don't check to see if it's happening. Don't look for signs. Don't keep looking at your 3D. Don't look for validation. Don't seek the 3D to understand what should be going on in here. He's not telling you not to have it going on in here. When he wanted to get out the army, he slept every night as if he was in his bed back in New York. He didn't not do that. He didn't stop desiring it. He imagined he was it already. He was already in New York. He was already out the army. You guys understanding the difference? The difference between desiring something, like really wanting it, and being it already? That doesn't imply never thinking about it again. It doesn't imply not visualizing about it or scripting about it or thinking about it. So many of you are so confused. Oh, but he said don't dig up the seed. He meant don't fucking keep checking if it's growing. He also said there's no such thing, or he said it's like treat it like a pregnancy. So there's no such thing as once you get pregnant, you have to keep checking you're pregnant. You're pregnant, aren't you? And you allow it to grow and you imagine the outcome you want, which is a healthy, bouncing baby. You don't keep aborting the child by doing a whole lot of dumb shit. You'll abort your manifestation if you do dumb shit, if you seek for validation, if you seek for answers, if you look for signs, if you keep checking. Is it growing? That's what he's talking about. That's the detachment Neville's talking about. And when he says be indifferent to out here, he's talking about turn your attention away from it. Okay, I manifested that outcome already. I don't have to focus on it. I'm going to focus on this instead, the outcome I want, the outcome I have now in my mind. Not the outcome I have in my 3D, the outcome I have in my mind that I know will manifest. Are you guys seeing the difference? If you don't, please go and read Neville again and seek to understand him when you read. Because some of you go and watch creators who have not understood him and teach this wrong. Okay? All right, guys, I hope that made sense. If you want help, if you want, first of all, to suggest Loz lesson suggestions, you can go to my squad and suggest them every week. We put a post and you can suggest these lessons. Then there's also, you can suggest yourself to be on my podcast. We've just had a whole lot of videos come in, people saying why they want to be on the podcast, and I've chosen 3 people. Then, I have to get back to my team about who the 3 are. Then we're recording it this Wednesday, my 3rd podcast of the Loz Line. So come and join the Loz Line, be part of it inside the squad. Then you can also watch all my previous lives where I answer questions, and I go live every Wednesday. All our previous mentor lives, they go live every Monday. All of my previous one-to-one coaching and all of my success interviews in the coaching library, over 400 videos added to weekly that you get to be part of as part of the squad. So the squad is the place to be to get your questions answered and to watch content and be part of content that will teach you how to do this properly. Come and join us in the Subconscious Loz Squad. Hooray! What's this, Kayla? In bed with my husband and our dogs. Love you, Loz. You'll listen to her. Oh, wonderful, darling. You manifested that outcome perfectly. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for following and subscribing, and I'll see you soon.